You think he's actually going to move?" She giggled, tipping the coffee cup just a little more. The crowd behind her gasped, but no one moved fast enough. In one reckless motion, the hot brown liquid arced through the air, splashing across the tomb guard's uniform like an insult made physical. He didn't flinch. The coffee hit his polished coat, dripping from the edge of his bayonet and staining the sacred silence he was sworn to protect. Cameras clicked, phones recorded, people whispered. But the tomb guard's eyes stayed forward, jaw tight, hands still locked around his rifle with the kind of composure only forged by absolute discipline. The woman, a tourist in a skin-tight red shirt and mirrored sunglasses, laughed again, smug, mocking, oblivious. To her, it was all just a game. Something for social media, something to go viral. But what happened next wasn't what she expected. It started seconds later. A sharp voice sliced through the crowd like a blade. "Ma'am, step back, now." A senior officer, eyes burning with restrained fury, moved through the crowd with two MPs flanking him. The woman, still smiling, tried to act innocent. "It was just a joke. Relax," she said, waving the now empty cup in the air. But the MPs weren't laughing. The officer wasn't either. "This is the tomb of the unknown soldier," he said, his voice low, trembling with controlled rage. "You just assaulted one of our most sacred servicemen, and dishonored every fallen soldier we've ever laid to rest." The crowd was silent now. Several had already stopped recording. Some looked away in shame. Others stared, waiting for justice. The woman's smile faded. She was escorted away in front of the same crowd that moments earlier had watched her mock a man standing for the fallen. But the real story, the one that made headlines, wasn't just about the splash of coffee. It was about the soldier who didn't react. Later, a reporter would ask the tomb guard why he didn't move, why he didn't even flinch as hot liquid ran down his uniform. His answer was just one sentence. "Because they can disrespect me, but I won't let them dishonor the ones I'm guarding." That one sentence would be shared across the internet, printed on posters, and quoted in speeches. But to understand the weight of those words, you'd have to understand the man who spoke them. Private First Class Daniel Keller, 27, second-generation military, lost his older brother in Iraq, applied 3 times to become a tomb guard before finally being accepted. He trained for over a year, memorizing every step, every second of the 21-second walk, every command, every tradition. In storms, in snow, in scorching heat. He once stood post during a Category 1 hurricane. Never left, never broke rank. He said the honor of guarding the unknown was more sacred than life, because the men buried there didn't have names, didn't have graves, didn't get funerals. All they had left was him. And he wasn't about to dishonor that by reacting to a mockery, no matter how public. But what the tourist didn't know was this. Her coffee didn't just stain a uniform, it stained something deeper. For hours after she was removed, the guard stood in that same position, soaked, steaming, but unbroken. When his shift ended, he returned to the quarters, removed his jacket, and quietly began to clean it himself. Another soldier offered to help. Keller simply said, "She'll forget what she did by tomorrow, but I won't forget why I'm here." And then he got back in line for the next shift. The woman was fined, banned from federal military sites, and made a public apology after the backlash grew too loud to ignore. But even that didn't make the real impact. What changed everything was the video. The clip, just under 30 seconds, showed her laughing as the coffee flew, showed the guard standing still, showed the crowd falling silent, and then a close-up, his eyes stone still as brown liquid streamed down his uniform and pooled at his feet. That 30 seconds went viral, 30 million views in 48 hours. One comment read, "That's not a soldier, that's a monument." Another, "She brought coffee, he brought honor." Veterans around the country began reposting the video with the hashtag #StandLikeStone. Gold Star families wrote letters to Keller. One widow sent him her late husband's dog tags with a note that read, "You guard them all now." And perhaps the most powerful moment came weeks later, during a quiet ceremony. Keller was presented with a private commendation, not for valor in battle, but for valor in silence, for showing the world that sometimes the loudest stand you can make is the one where you say nothing at all. The coffee dried, the jacket was cleaned, the woman moved on. But the moment stayed, in the hearts of those who watched, in the lesson it carried, and in the silence that meant more than any shout ever could. Because respect is something you stand for, and some men are built to stand when the world dares them not to. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. You never know. The next one might just change your life.